I'm so glad you found your way here. Your body is healing itself right now, repairing damage while you simply exist. Tonight, you'll discover the healing secret doctors are just beginning to understand and learn why your mind is the most powerful medicine you'll ever possess. Welcome to Sleepy Science Facts. Now settle in. You're in your safe space while your brain quietly repairs itself, clearing toxins, preparing for tomorrow. Allow yourself this moment of peace. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about healing, from invisible cellular repair happening now, to how thoughts create healing chemicals, to the bridge between hope and recovery. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. Your gentle support, a like, subscribe, or a quiet share, creates a pathway for more lovers to discover and brings us closer to protect this sanctuary for every tired mind who finds their way here. One peaceful night, one sleepy soul at a time. Your healing journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep, safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where memories rest safely in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Research suggests your brain may begin activating healing pathways when you hold genuine expectations of recovery. This isn't mystical thinking. It's measurable neuroscience discovered through recent brain imaging studies. When you believe healing is possible, your prefrontal cortex activates neural pathways that can trigger the release of endogenous opioids, natural compounds similar in effect to pain medications. These substances work on the same receptors as prescription pain relievers, but are produced entirely within you. Brain scans show that subjects who expected relief displayed increased activity in reward centers and decreased activity in pain processing regions. Within minutes, their bodies began producing healing compounds. Your thoughts aren't just reflecting reality. They're actively participating in its construction, one neural signal at a time. Every single thought you think creates physical changes in your brain structure. This process, called neuroplasticity, was once considered impossible by medical science. Scientists believed adult brains were fixed, unchangeable. Then researchers discovered that the brain continuously rewires itself based on experience and thought patterns. When you repeatedly think healing thoughts, you may strengthen neural pathways associated with recovery, while weakening those linked to illness perception. The brain physically grows new connections, dendrites and synapses, in response to mental focus. This means that choosing to think about wellness over sickness isn't just positive thinking. It's neurological architecture. Your mind is literally building the structure through which healing may flow, though the process takes time and patience. The placebo effect is one of medicine's most powerful and least understood phenomena. In clinical trials conducted over recent years, patients given inactive sugar pills have shown measurable improvement in conditions ranging from chronic pain to depression to Parkinson's disease symptoms. The key factor wasn't the pill, it was the expectation that healing was happening. Research from Johns Hopkins and other institutions found that placebo responses activate similar brain regions and neurotransmitter systems as actual medications. Your brain releases dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins based on expectation. In some studies, placebos performed nearly as well as actual drugs, with fewer side effects. This reveals something profound. Your mind possesses an innate healing capacity that can be activated through belief, context, and the ritual of care. Chronic stress can reduce the volume of your brain's hippocampus, the region responsible for memory and emotional regulation. Studies using MRI imaging show that prolonged cortisol exposure may cause changes in this area, making it harder to process emotions and form new memories. But here's the hopeful part. Research suggests these changes may be reversible. When stress decreases and healing practices begin, meditation, therapy, even simple rest, the hippocampus can show signs of recovery. New neurons may grow through a process called neurogenesis. Within weeks or months of stress reduction, brain scans sometimes show measurable increases in hippocampal volume. Your brain isn't permanently damaged by what you've endured. It's waiting, perhaps ready to rebuild itself when you create space for healing. Your immune system is directly connected to your emotional state through a complex network scientists call psychoneuroimmunology. This field studies how thoughts and feelings influence immune function. Research published in recent years has demonstrated that chronic negative emotions, anxiety, anger, hopelessness, may suppress immune cell activity, potentially making you more vulnerable to illness. Conversely, positive emotional states appear to support production of antibodies and T cells that help fight infection. The mechanism works through the vagus nerve, which carries signals between your brain and your immune organs. When you experience hope, gratitude, or peace, your brain sends chemical messages that may enhance immune surveillance and inflammatory control. Healing begins in the mind because the mind influences the messengers that help tell your body whether to defend itself or struggle. Meditation appears to change brain structure in ways that may support healing and well-being. Neuroscientists have conducted 8-week mindfulness studies and found that participants showed increased gray matter density in brain regions associated with memory, empathy, and stress regulation. The amygdala, your fear and stress center, showed reduced volume in some studies. These changes were visible on brain scans after consistent practice. Participants often reported lower anxiety, better sleep, and improved pain tolerance. The practice of simply sitting quietly and observing your thoughts without judgment may trigger neuroplastic changes that make your brain more resilient over time. Meditation isn't just relaxation. It might be a form of mental architecture, gradually reshaping how your brain responds to stress and difficulty. The words your doctor uses when delivering a diagnosis can influence your recovery journey. Studies on nocebo effects show that negative language may increase symptom severity and affect healing outcomes. When physicians use phrases like this, "will be very painful," or "most people struggle with this," patients sometimes experience worse outcomes, not necessarily because of the condition itself, but because of the expectation created. Conversely, reframing the same information more positively. Many patients recover well with treatment, or you have several good options, appears to support better outcomes. Research suggests that how information is framed can influence stress hormone levels and immune response. The words that enter your mind about your condition may become part of the lens through which your body interprets whether to mobilize resources toward recovery. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system, communicates with your brain through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. These microbes influence neurotransmitter production and signaling, including compounds related to serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Research suggests that when gut bacteria are healthy and diverse, they may support emotional balance and resilience through various chemical pathways. When they're disrupted by poor diet, antibiotics, or chronic stress, they might send inflammatory signals that could contribute to anxiety and depression. This means your mental state may be partially influenced by microscopic organisms in your intestines. Healing your mind might benefit from supporting your gut health. The two systems appear to be inseparably connected through invisible chemical conversations. Sleep is when your brain performs much of its healing work. During deep sleep stages, your glymphatic system, a waste clearance network discovered in recent years, flushes out toxic proteins that accumulate during waking hours. These include beta amyloid and tau proteins linked to neurodegenerative conditions. Without adequate sleep, these substances may build up, potentially damaging neurons and impairing cognitive function. But sleep also appears to help process emotional experiences. REM sleep may help metabolize difficult memories, sometimes reducing their emotional intensity so they become easier to bear. Research suggests that even a single night of quality sleep can support emotional regulation and reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. Your sleeping brain is actively working to restore both body and mind. The relationship between pain and the mind is far more complex than simple sensation. Pain is constructed by your brain based on sensory input, but also on context, expectation, and emotional state. Research has demonstrated that two people with similar tissue damage can experience vastly different pain levels depending on their psychological state. Fear and anxiety may amplify pain signals. Safety and comfort might dampen them. This is why distraction, meditation, and cognitive reframing can sometimes reduce pain as effectively as medication in certain cases. Your brain plays a complex role in how pain is experienced, interpreting sensory signals through layers of meaning and emotion. The mind doesn't create pain from nothing, but it does participate in shaping how pain is felt and how much it dominates your awareness. Social connection appears vital to healing across many conditions. Studies tracking recovery rates found that those with strong social support networks often healed faster from surgery, infections, and chronic illness. The presence of caring relationships may reduce cortisol, lower blood pressure, and support immune function. Research suggests this occurs because humans evolved as social creatures. Isolation was life-threatening, so our bodies may interpret it as danger, maintaining stress responses. When you feel genuinely connected to others, your nervous system might shift into a more balanced state. Relationships aren't just emotional comfort. They may be biological medicine, potentially changing your chemistry in ways that support recovery and resilience. Though individual experiences vary. Gratitude practice, simply writing down things you're thankful for, may create changes in brain chemistry within weeks. Neuroscience studies have shown that regular gratitude exercises appear to increase neural sensitivity in the medial prefrontal cortex, a region associated with learning and decision-making. Participants also showed enhanced activity in brain areas that produce dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters that help regulate mood and motivation. After several weeks, subjects often reported better sleep, reduced depression symptoms, and increased feelings of well-being. The practice may work by training your brain to notice positive elements of experience rather than defaulting to threat scanning. Gratitude isn't naive optimism. It might be a deliberate reshaping of attention that gradually changes your brain's default mode toward noticing what supports you rather than what threatens you. Trauma can change brain structure, particularly in regions that regulate fear and safety. The amygdala may become more reactive, constantly scanning for threat. The hippocampus sometimes shows reduced volume, making it difficult to distinguish past danger from present safety. But trauma isn't necessarily a life sentence. Emerging therapies like EMDR and neurofeedback may help rewire traumatized brains back toward balance. Research has found that people who completed trauma-focused therapy sometimes showed decreased amygdala reactivity and increased prefrontal cortex engagement, the executive function region that helps regulate emotions. Their brains showed signs of physical change, potentially becoming more capable of experiencing safety. Healing from trauma appears possible because your brain retains capacity to learn new responses, to gradually reshape itself. Exercise doesn't just strengthen your body. It may fundamentally change your brain chemistry in ways that support mental healing. Physical activity triggers the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that promotes the growth of new neurons and strengthens existing connections. Research suggests that regular, moderate exercise can be as helpful as medication for some people with mild to moderate depression. Though individual responses vary, it may reduce inflammation, improve sleep quality, and increase resilience to stress. The effect appears dose-dependent. Even a 20-minute walk produces measurable improvements in mood and cognitive function for many people. Movement might be medicine for the mind, potentially changing the very structure and chemistry of the organ responsible for all thought and emotion. Your autonomic nervous system has two primary modes: sympathetic, which activates fight or flight response, and parasympathetic, which promotes rest and healing. Chronic stress can keep you locked in sympathetic dominance. Elevated heart rate, shallow breathing, ongoing cortisol release. This represents the cumulative wear scientists call allostatic load, the toll that chronic stress takes on your body over time. But you can consciously shift toward parasympathetic mode through slow breathing, meditation, or simply creating safety. Research shows that extending your exhale longer than your inhale activates the vagus nerve, triggering calming responses. This simple act may tell your nervous system the emergency has passed. Perhaps it's safe to rest now. Hope is not just an emotion. It's a cognitive state that activates specific neural networks associated with goal setting and future planning. Research shows that people with higher hope levels often recover faster from illness, cope better with pain, and have lower rates of depression and anxiety. Hope appears to work by directing attention toward possibilities rather than limitations. When you believe positive outcomes are achievable, your brain may begin planning pathways to reach them, creating motivation and persistence. Conversely, hopelessness can shut down these networks, potentially creating patterns of stagnation. Cultivating realistic hope, grounded in possibility, not denial, might be one of the more powerful tools your mind possesses for supporting healing, though it works alongside, not instead of, medical treatment. Chronic inflammation is increasingly understood as a factor in many modern diseases. Heart disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, depression, autoimmune conditions, and research reveals that psychological stress may be one of inflammation's triggers. When you experience ongoing stress, your body releases pro-inflammatory cytokines as part of an ancient immune response. But when stress is psychological and prolonged, inflammation may become chronic. Studies show that stress reduction practices, therapy, meditation, social connection, can measurably decrease inflammatory markers in blood tests. Your mental state may influence inflammatory processes. Addressing psychological stress might help reduce the inflammation that contributes to suffering. Though inflammation has many causes, and treating it requires comprehensive approaches, your brain has a default mode network, a system active when you're not focused on external tasks. When you're daydreaming, remembering, or thinking about yourself. In people with depression and anxiety, this network sometimes becomes hyperactive, creating loops of negative rumination. But mindfulness studies show this pattern may shift with practice. When you cultivate present moment awareness, the default mode network often quiets, and attention networks strengthen. This shift is visible on brain scans and correlates with reduced symptoms. Your brain's resting state, what it does when not engaged in tasks, isn't necessarily fixed. It might be a pattern, and like many patterns, it could be gently, gradually influenced through consistent practice and support. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, is released during positive social interactions, physical touch, and even petting animals. This neuropeptide may reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and support immune function. It also appears to increase trust and empathy, making it easier to form healing relationships. Research shows that oxytocin can dampen activity in the amygdala, your brain's fear center, while increasing activity in regions associated with reward and social bonding. This is why a hug from someone you trust might immediately calm anxiety. Physical affection isn't just comforting. It may be chemically altering your brain state towards safety and connection. In a very real sense, caring touch could be medicine, potentially changing your biology in ways that support healing. When you vividly imagine experiences, your brain activates many of the same neural networks as it would during actual experience. This is why visualization techniques, mentally rehearsing positive outcomes, can influence emotional and physiological responses, though the effects are typically less intense than real experiences. Athletes have used this technique for decades, and medical applications show that patients who visualize healing processes sometimes experience supportive outcomes. The practice may work because imagination activates neural networks that create real changes in stress hormones, immune function, and pain perception. Your mind doesn't need the experience to be real to respond to it in some way. This means you might be able to practice healing mentally, preparing your nervous system for recovery, though visualization works best as complement to, not replacement for. Treatment. Laughter triggers the release of endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals, while simultaneously reducing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Studies show that even deliberate laughter, laughing without genuine amusement, produces some of these benefits. Research has found that laughter therapy groups showed improved immune function, better pain tolerance, and enhanced mood compared to control groups. The physical act of laughing increases oxygen intake, stimulates circulation, and relaxes muscles throughout your body. It's difficult to remain in a state of fear or pain while genuinely laughing. Humor isn't frivolous in the context of healing. It might be a powerful intervention that shifts your entire physiological state from stress to ease, from tension to release, at least temporarily. Forgiveness. Releasing resentment toward those who've harmed you may produce measurable health benefits. People who practice forgiveness often show lower blood pressure, reduced anxiety, and decreased depression symptoms compared to those who hold on to resentment. Research has found that forgiveness interventions reduced chronic pain levels in some participants significantly. The mechanism appears to involve stress reduction. Holding onto anger and resentment may keep your nervous system in heightened arousal. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harm or reconciling with those who hurt you. It might mean releasing the physiological burden of carrying that pain forward. You're not forgiving for them. You might be forgiving for your own healing, to potentially free your body from the ongoing stress of unresolved anger. The color and aesthetics of your environment may affect your mental state and healing capacity. Hospitals are beginning to incorporate this research into design. Studies show that rooms with natural light, views of nature, and soothing colors appear to reduce patient stress, lower pain medication requirements, and potentially shorten recovery times. The brain processes visual information constantly, and harsh lighting, steriler white walls, and windowless spaces might trigger subtle stress responses. Conversely, soft blues and greens, natural materials, and living plants may activate parasympathetic nervous system responses associated with rest. Your environment isn't neutral. It's constantly communicating something to your subconscious mind. Creating a healing space around you might be creating conditions for your nervous system to relax and repair more easily. Music affects your brain in profound ways, activating regions involved in emotion, memory, and even motor control. Listening to music you love releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter released by food and pleasant experiences. Music therapy is now used in hospitals to reduce anxiety before surgery, manage chronic pain, and help patients recover from stroke and traumatic brain injury. Research has found that patients recovering from heart surgery who listened to music daily sometimes required less pain medication than those who didn't. Music doesn't just distract from suffering. It may change brain chemistry in ways that influence pain, perception, and emotional regulation. Rhythm and melody might be medicine, reaching and soothing in ways words sometimes cannot. The stories you tell yourself about your illness or pain may shape your recovery journey. Cognitive behavioral therapy works by helping people identify and challenge unhelpful narratives. I'll never get better. I'm broken. This pain will never end. Research consistently shows that people who view their condition as a challenge they can influence, even partially, often experience better outcomes than those who see themselves as helpless victims of unchangeable circumstances. This isn't about denying real suffering or forcing positive thinking. It's about narrative flexibility, being able to hold multiple perspectives about your experience. The story isn't separate from the healing. The story might be part of the healing process, potentially influencing whether your mind mobilizes resources toward recovery or accepts resignation. You are both author and protagonist. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of organisms working in silence. Heart beating, lungs breathing, brain thinking. All without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem, diverse, self-balancing. Feel the quiet intelligence of your body, working even now to restore and renew. Now we continue. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections with other neurons. This creates a network of staggering complexity, more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. This vast network is constantly changing based on your thoughts, experiences, and emotions. When you repeatedly think negative thoughts, you may strengthen those neural pathways, making negativity easier to access. But the reverse also appears true. Consistent focus on supportive thoughts might build pathways toward resilience. This is why practices like cognitive behavioral therapy may work. They're potentially rewiring your brain's architecture over time. Your thoughts aren't ephemeral. They might be construction workers, gradually building the neural pathways that shape future experience. Breath is the only autonomic function you can consciously control, making it a bridge between your conscious mind and unconscious body. When you slow and deepen your breathing, you may directly influence heart rate variability, blood pressure, and stress hormone levels. The vagus nerve, which regulates rest and digest responses, can be activated by slow exhales. Research suggests that coherent breathing, slowing to around 5 or 6 breaths per minute, may optimize heart rate variability and support a calmer physiological state for many people. Though the ideal rhythm varies individually, you carry this tool with you always: your breath. Learning to use it consciously might be learning to shift your nervous system toward peace. Chronic pain can rewire the brain in ways that may make pain persist even after initial injury has healed. The nervous system sometimes becomes hypersensitive, interpreting normal sensations as painful. This phenomenon, called central sensitization, means the pain is real. It's just being generated by neural patterns rather than ongoing tissue damage. But here's the hope. Neuroplasticity works both ways. Brain training techniques, mindfulness, and graded exposure to movement may gradually help desensitize the nervous system, teaching it that it's safe to feel normal sensation again. Pain reprocessing therapy has shown promise in reducing chronic pain by addressing these neural patterns. The pain feels physical, but the healing might begin in reshaping how the brain interprets signals. Your cells are constantly regenerating. The lining of your stomach replaces itself every few days. Your skin renews completely every few weeks. Even your bones are continuously breaking down and rebuilding. The you of today is physically different from the you of months ago. This process of renewal offers profound hope. whatever damage has occurred. Your body is always working to create itself anew. Healing isn't necessarily about returning to who you were before. It might be about supporting your body's innate drive to continuously become. Every moment, millions of cells are being born, replacing old or damaged ones. You are not a static entity. You are a process of perpetual regeneration. The insula is a brain region that processes signals from your body: hunger, thirst, temperature, pain, and emotion. It creates what neuroscientists call interoception, your sense of your body's internal state. People with greater insular activity often have better emotional regulation and self-awareness. Mindfulness practices may strengthen the insula, improving your ability to notice and respond to your body's needs before they become urgent. This matters for healing because many imbalances are preceded by subtle signals: fatigue, tension, discomfort that can go unnoticed until they become severe. Developing interoceptive awareness might mean catching difficulties early, when they're easier to address. Healing could begin with listening to the quiet messages your body sends. Sunlight exposure influences far more than vitamin D levels. It directly affects your circadian rhythm, mood, and immune function. Morning sunlight, in particular, helps set your biological clock, potentially improving sleep quality and daytime alertness. Research shows that people with greater sunlight exposure often have lower rates of depression, better immune function, and sometimes faster wound healing. The mechanism involves both vitamin D production and direct effects on brain chemistry, particularly serotonin synthesis. In winter months or climates with limited sun, light therapy boxes can partially replicate some of these benefits. Your brain and body evolved under the rhythm of natural light. Reconnecting with that rhythm, even briefly each morning, might support your system's ability to maintain balance. Your beliefs about aging may affect how you age. Research tracking people over decades found that those who held positive views about aging lived significantly longer on average than those with negative views. They also often had better memory, cardiovascular health, and recovery rates from illness. The mechanism appears psychological. People who believe aging can bring wisdom and freedom may engage more fully with life, maintain social connections, and take better care of themselves. Those who internalize ageist stereotypes, viewing aging as decline and irrelevance, might experience those very outcomes. Your expectations about your future health could become self-influencing prophecies. How you think about aging might shape how you experience it. Compassion for yourself during illness or pain isn't weakness. It may be neurologically healing. Self-criticism activates some of the same brain regions as external threat, potentially keeping you in a stress state. Self-compassion, conversely, may activate care systems associated with oxytocin and feelings of safety. Research on self-compassion shows it can reduce anxiety and depression while improving motivation and resilience. The practice involves treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a struggling friend, acknowledging suffering without harsh judgment. This isn't self-indulgence or giving up. It's recognizing that you deserve care during difficulty, and that being harsh with yourself for being unwell might add psychological suffering to physical pain. Gentleness toward yourself might create safety necessary for healing. Diet and lifestyle that support healthy gut bacteria may influence mood and emotional well-being through the gut-brain axis. When beneficial gut bacteria thrive, they support various aspects of digestive and potentially mental health. When disrupted by processed foods, chronic stress, or repeated antibiotic use, the gut environment changes. Some research suggests that probiotic supplementation and dietary changes that support healthy gut bacteria might help improve mood in some cases of mild to moderate depression, though results vary between individuals. The gut-brain connection is bidirectional. Stress affects digestion, and digestive health may affect mental state. This means supporting overall health might benefit from attending to both mind and gut, recognizing they influence each other. Loneliness activates some of the same brain regions as physical pain. Neuroimaging studies show that social rejection lights up the anterior cingulate cortex and insula, areas that process the distress of physical injury. Your brain evolved to interpret social disconnection as threatening because, for most of human history, it often was. Isolation meant vulnerability and inability to access resources. This is why loneliness feels so painful and why chronic loneliness can be damaging to health. The antidote isn't necessarily more relationships. It's feeling genuinely connected within the relationships you have. Quality of connection appears to matter more than quantity. Feeling truly seen and understood by even one person can provide profound support. Your face has over 40 muscles capable of creating thousands of distinct expressions. These expressions don't just reflect emotion, they may help create it. The facial feedback hypothesis, supported by research, suggests that smiling activates neural pathways associated with positive emotion, even if you don't feel happy initially. Conversely, frowning might reinforce negative mood states. This doesn't mean you should suppress genuine sadness or force false positivity. It means that your facial expressions are part of the feedback loop that generates emotion. Sometimes, gently softening a furrowed brow or allowing the corners of your mouth to lift slightly might shift your internal state. Your face isn't just expressing your mind, it might be influencing it. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, may be calmed through consistent exposure to safety. Trauma can keep the amygdala hyperactive, constantly scanning for danger, even when none exists. But therapy approaches like exposure therapy and somatic experiencing may gradually help the amygdala recalibrate. Through repeated experiences of facing fear in safe contexts, the amygdala might learn to better distinguish real threats from echoes of past danger. Brain scans sometimes show measurable decreases in amygdala reactivity after successful trauma treatment. The nervous system isn't permanently broken by what you've survived. It may have been trained into a pattern of hypervigilance that can, with patience and safety, be gradually retrained toward balance. Cold exposure, through cold showers, ice baths, or winter swimming, triggers a cascade of physiological responses that might improve mood and resilience for some people. The shock of cold activates your sympathetic nervous system. Then, as you warm, may shift you into parasympathetic relaxation. Regular cold exposure has been associated with increased norepinephrine levels, potentially improving focus and mood, while reducing some inflammatory markers. It may also build psychological resilience if you can tolerate temporary physical discomfort voluntarily. Other stresses might become more manageable. This practice isn't for everyone and should be approached gradually and carefully. But for some, it becomes a tool for shifting mental state, training the nervous system to move between stress and recovery. Your circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock governing sleep-wake cycles, influences everything from hormone release to immune function to DNA repair. Disrupting this rhythm through irregular sleep, night shift work, or excessive screen time before bed may weaken your body's ability to maintain balance. Research shows that maintaining consistent sleep and wake times, even on weekends, appears to strengthen circadian alignment and may improve metabolic health, mood, and cognitive function. The first hour after waking and the hour before sleep are particularly important. Morning light exposure and evening darkness help anchor your rhythm. Your body evolved to follow the sun, honoring that ancient pattern, even imperfectly, might support many systems involved in maintaining health. Halfway through our journey, perhaps you're noticing something. These facts aren't separate pieces of information. They're all describing the same truth from different angles. The mind and body aren't separate systems. They appear to be a unified process, constantly communicating through electrical signals, chemical messengers, and feedback loops. Every thought may create a cascade of physical changes. Every physical state might influence thought and emotion. Healing begins in the mind, not because the mind is superior or separate, but because the mind is where conscious awareness lives. And awareness is where choice becomes possible. The choice to shift attention, to seek safety, to believe recovery might be possible. That choice could change everything. If you're still awake, still listening to these secrets of the mind, that means curiosity hasn't fully rested yet. And that's okay. Take a gentle breath. Feel the weight of your body on the bed, grounded like ancient stone. We're wandering through healing's quiet wisdom together, and we'll keep going, slowly. Touch appears fundamental to healing. Premature infants who receive regular gentle touch often gain weight faster and develop more quickly than those who don't. Adults recovering from surgery sometimes report less pain and faster healing when they receive supportive touch. The mechanism may involve activation of pressure receptors that send calming signals to the brain, reducing cortisol and activating the parasympathetic nervous system. This is why massage therapy, acupuncture, and even self-massage might produce measurable benefits for some people. Your skin is your largest sensory organ, constantly gathering information about safety and connection. Gentle, caring touch may tell your nervous system you're not alone. You're safe, and perhaps it's okay to let go. The hormone melatonin, released in darkness, doesn't just regulate sleep. It's a powerful antioxidant that helps repair cellular damage throughout your body. During sleep, melatonin levels peak, allowing your cells to perform maintenance and repair that can't happen as effectively during waking hours. Artificial light, especially blue light from screens, suppresses melatonin production, potentially disrupting this vital healing window. Research suggests that people with chronic sleep disruption may have higher rates of inflammation, cognitive changes, and metabolic concerns. Protecting your sleep might mean protecting your body's nightly repair cycle. Dimming lights in the evening and avoiding screens before bed isn't just sleep hygiene. It's allowing your body access to important healing processes. Forest bathing, spending time quietly in nature, may measurably reduce stress hormones and support immune function. Research has found that people who walked in forests showed decreased cortisol, lower blood pressure, and increased natural killer cell activity compared to those who walked in urban environments. The effects appeared to last for days after exposure. Theories suggest compounds released by trees called phytoncides might contribute to these benefits, though the mechanism isn't fully understood. What seems clear is that natural environments may shift your nervous system toward rest. You don't need to hike mountains. Even sitting quietly in a park or garden might provide some of these benefits. Your heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, detectable several feet away. Research shows that your heart rhythm pattern reflects your emotional state and may influence brain function. Coherent heart rhythms, smooth, ordered patterns, occur during states of appreciation, compassion, and calm. These patterns appear to support cognitive performance and emotional regulation. Chaotic heart rhythms occur during stress and negative emotions, potentially impairing mental clarity. By consciously cultivating positive emotions or practicing heart-focused breathing, you might shift your heart into coherence, which could then influence your brain toward better functioning. Your heart isn't just a pump. It's an intelligent system communicating with your entire body about your emotional state. Meaning and purpose appear to be among the stronger predictors of health and longevity. Research consistently shows that people who report a strong sense of purpose often have lower rates of heart disease, stroke, and cognitive decline. They also may recover more quickly from illness and live longer on average. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as caring for others, pursuing a craft, or contributing to your community. What matters is the feeling that your life has direction and significance. This sense of meaning appears to buffer against stress, motivate health behaviors, and provide resilience during difficulty. Your mind might heal better when it has reasons worth healing for. Neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons, appears to continue throughout your life, particularly in the hippocampus. Exercise, learning new skills, and reducing stress all seem to support neurogenesis. This means your brain may retain capacity to grow and change, regardless of age or past challenges. Activities that challenge you mentally, learning a language, playing an instrument, solving puzzles, might strengthen existing connections and help create new ones. Your brain appears to thrive on novelty and challenge within a context of safety. The old belief that you couldn't grow new brain cells was wrong. Your mind might always be capable of some renewal, always building new capacity for the future. Crying may release stress hormones through tears and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, creating a sense of calm after emotional release. Research shows that emotional tears contain different chemical compositions than tears from irritation. They appear to help remove stress-related chemicals from your body. Suppressing tears might preserve stress hormones in your system, potentially prolonging distress. Cultural messages about crying, especially for men, can interfere with this natural release mechanism. Allowing yourself to cry when needed isn't weakness. It might be allowing your body to discharge the neurochemical burden of intense emotion. Tears could be healing. They're your body's way of restoring balance after overwhelm, washing away what cannot be held. The practice of naming your emotions, of fact labeling, may reduce their intensity. Brain imaging shows that putting feelings into words can decrease activity in the amygdala, while increasing activity in the prefrontal cortex, potentially shifting you from reactive emotion to conscious awareness. Simply saying, "I'm feeling anxious," or "this is grief," might create distance between you and the feeling, making it more manageable. This is one reason journaling and talk therapy may work. You're not just venting. You might be activating neural circuits that help regulate emotion. The act of witnessing and naming could transform the experience from something happening to you into something you can observe and, eventually, work with. Your mirror neurons fire both when you perform an action and when you watch someone else perform it. This is why you might wince when you see someone injured. Your brain simulates their experience. It's also why spending time with calm, positive people may shift your own state. You unconsciously tend to mirror the emotional states and behaviors of those around you. This means your social environment might significantly influence your capacity for healing. Surrounding yourself with people who embody hope, resilience, and care could create a neurological resonance that makes those states more accessible to you. Healing happens not just within you, but between you and those around you. Perhaps you're noticing something by this point in our journey. These facts aren't separate pieces of information. They're all describing the same truth from different angles. The mind and body aren't separate systems. They appear to be a unified process, constantly communicating through electrical signals, chemical messengers, and electromagnetic fields. Every thought may create a cascade of physical changes. Every physical state might influence thought and emotion. Healing begins in the mind, not because the mind is superior or separate, but because the mind is where conscious awareness lives. And awareness is where choice becomes possible. The choice to shift attention, to seek safety, to believe recovery might be possible. That choice could change everything. Let each breath guide you to realize time is yours, a separate stream that only you are living, while the vast universe continues to spin, expand, change. This second you're breathing, listening, is unique. This moment of healing, of quiet restoration, belongs only to you. Feel the space around you, within you. Notice how even stillness contains infinite possibility. Cherish the present moment, knowing that right now, your time is unique in the universe. And we continue drifting. The vagus nerve wanders from your brainstem through your heart, lungs, and digestive system, carrying signals that may regulate healing, inflammation, and stress response. Strong vagus nerve activity, called high vagal tone, is associated with better emotional regulation, lower inflammation, and resilience. You might strengthen vagal tone through slow breathing, humming, gargling, or cold exposure. The nerve responds to signals of safety, connection, and gentle rhythm. When activated, it may tell your body, the emergency is over. Perhaps it's safe to digest, heal, rest. Your vagus nerve could be a pathway to shifting your entire system from survival mode toward healing mode. Every emotion has a chemical signature. Fear releases adrenaline and cortisol. Positive connection releases oxytocin and endorphins. Anger triggers norepinephrine. These chemicals don't just accompany emotion. They create the physical sensations you recognize as feeling. This means changing your emotional state changes your chemistry. Practices that shift emotion, gratitude, compassion, humor, connection, aren't just mood improvement. They might be chemistry experiments, altering the molecular environment your cells exist within. You are continuously bathing your body in the chemistry of your emotional state, choosing emotion consciously, when possible, might become choosing the healing environment your body inhabits. Sleep deprivation may impair immune function significantly. Research shows that people who sleep fewer than 6 hours nightly are more likely to catch colds when exposed. Sleep is when your immune system produces and releases cytokines needed to fight infection and inflammation. Missing sleep might mean missing this vital immune training and deployment. Chronic sleep loss may create systemic inflammation and increase risk for various chronic conditions. There's no substitute for sleep, no productivity hack that compensates for its loss. Your body cannot easily heal what sleep repairs. Rest isn't laziness. It's non-negotiable biological necessity. The stories your culture tells about illness may shape your healing journey. In societies where depression is understood as temporary imbalance, recovery rates sometimes appear better than in cultures that view it as permanent character flaw. The same might apply to chronic pain, trauma, and other conditions. Cultural narratives about what's possible may influence what becomes possible for individuals. This is why representation matters. Seeing others recover from conditions you face might make recovery feel more achievable. Your personal narrative exists within a broader cultural context. Finding communities and stories that affirm healing's possibility could expand what your mind believes your body can achieve. Interoception, your ability to sense internal body states, can be strengthened through practice. Body scan meditations, where you systematically notice sensations in different body parts, may improve interoceptive awareness over time. Greater interoceptive accuracy often correlates with better emotional regulation and mental health. It might also help you respond to your body's needs before they become urgent. Learning to feel subtle signals, tension, fatigue, hunger, emotion, could allow earlier intervention. This internal awareness appears trainable. Your body is always communicating. Learning its language might deepen your capacity to support your own healing. Inflammation is adaptive in acute situations. It's how your body responds to injury and infection. But chronic low-grade inflammation, sustained over months or years, may damage healthy tissue and accelerate aging. Diet, stress, sleep, and social connection all appear to influence inflammatory markers. Diets rich in omega-3s, antioxidants, and fiber may help reduce inflammatory markers in some people. The mind's role matters too. Chronic stress and persistent negative emotions might maintain inflammatory states. Reducing inflammation may require addressing both what you eat and how you think, what you do and how you feel. Healing appears integrative, requiring attention to multiple levels simultaneously. Your cells respond to gravitational forces and movement. Bones strengthen in response to weight-bearing exercise because mechanical stress signals cells to build more bone density. Muscles grow stronger when challenged because tension triggers protein synthesis. Even your cardiovascular system adapts to the demands placed on it. This mechanobiological principle applies to healing. Gentle, appropriate movement may signal your body that recovery is happening, that it's safe to rebuild. Complete rest is sometimes necessary, but prolonged immobility might signal deterioration to your cells. Movement, calibrated to your capacity, could tell your cells, "We're healing. We're getting stronger." The prefrontal cortex, your brain's executive control center, develops fully in your mid-20s, but can be affected by chronic stress, trauma, or substance use. It's responsible for impulse control, planning, and emotional regulation. When impaired, recovery becomes harder because this region helps you make choices aligned with long-term well-being. But here's the hope. The prefrontal cortex is also highly plastic. Meditation, therapy, and reducing stress all appear to strengthen its function. The capacity for wise decision-making, delayed gratification, and self-regulation isn't fixed. It might be trainable, though the process takes time and support. Acts of kindness may produce measurable changes in brain chemistry, releasing oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. People who regularly perform kind acts for others often report lower depression, greater life satisfaction, and better physical health. The effect appears strongest when kindness is other-focused rather than self-serving, and when it involves personal connection. Kindness isn't just moral virtue. It might be neurobiological medicine. It may shift you out of self-focused rumination and activate social connection circuits. Even small acts, holding a door, offering a genuine compliment, could create ripples of chemical change. Helping others might help you heal too. Generosity could be mutual medicine. Your childhood experiences shaped your nervous system's baseline activation level. Secure attachment in early life may create a nervous system calibrated towards safety and trust. Trauma or neglect might create hypervigilance and difficulty feeling safe. But this isn't necessarily destiny. Therapy, particularly attachment-focused approaches, may help rewire these early patterns. Corrective emotional experiences, relationships where you're consistently met with care, could gradually shift your nervous system towards security. The past shaped you, but it doesn't imprison you. With time, safety, and skilled support, you might develop the secure attachment you didn't receive early on. It's never too late to begin. Inflammation in the brain is increasingly linked to depression, anxiety, and cognitive changes. Microglia, the brain's immune cells, can become overactive, potentially affecting healthy neurons if chronically activated by stress, poor diet, or infection. Anti-inflammatory interventions, including diet changes, exercise, and stress reduction, have shown promise in supporting mental health for some people. This suggests some emotional struggles may have immunological components. The boundary between physical and mental health blurs when you understand that emotional suffering might have biological roots. Supporting the mind might benefit from supporting the immune system that guards it, and vice versa. The glymphatic system, discovered only in recent years, clears metabolic waste from your brain during deep sleep. This includes proteins linked to neurodegenerative conditions. The system appears most active during sleep, when brain cells actually shrink to allow better fluid flow. This discovery helps explain why chronic sleep disruption is associated with cognitive changes and increased risk for various conditions. Your sleeping brain is taking out the trash, clearing the debris of daily neural activity. Without adequate sleep, substances may accumulate. Sleep isn't passive rest. It's active maintenance, essential for long-term brain health. Epigenetics shows that lifestyle and environment can influence which genes are expressed without changing DNA sequence itself. Factors like chronic stress, diet, exercise, and sleep patterns can affect gene expression through chemical modifications. Emerging research suggests that practices like meditation might influence genes related to inflammation and stress response. Though scientists are still learning how significant and lasting these changes are, while you can't change your DNA, you might influence how it's expressed to some degree. Your choices today could be influencing which genetic potentials become reality, though genes are only part of a much larger picture of health. Research suggests that loneliness and social isolation can be significantly damaging to health over time. The mechanisms appear to involve increased inflammation, elevated stress hormones, and impaired immune function. But it's not the number of relationships that matters most. It's feeling genuinely connected within the relationships you have. A single, deeply caring relationship might provide more health benefit than dozens of superficial connections. Quality over quantity. If you feel isolated, reaching out to strengthen even one relationship could potentially shift your biological trajectory. Connection might be medicine. Isolation could be costly to your well-being. Scientists once thought of interstellar space as empty, but it's actually filled with complex chemistry, radiation, and matter flowing between star systems. Similarly, the space between your conscious thoughts isn't empty. It's filled with unconscious processing, intuition, and bodily wisdom. Healing often requires accessing this space between thoughts, the stillness beneath mental chatter. Meditation practices may help you notice this underlying awareness that exists independent of thought content. The quiet space is where healing insights might arise, where your body's wisdom can be heard. Silence isn't absence. It could be presence without distraction. Post-traumatic growth is real and documented. Many people who survive severe trauma report positive changes, greater appreciation for life, strengthened relationships, increased personal strength, new possibilities, and spiritual development. Trauma can break you open in ways that allow deeper transformation than might have occurred otherwise. This doesn't justify suffering or minimize pain. It simply acknowledges that hardship, when processed through meaning-making and support, might catalyze profound growth for some people. You're not just returning to who you were before. You might be becoming someone new, forged through fire into unexpected strength. Your brain's neurochemistry changes throughout the day following circadian patterns. Cortisol peaks in the morning to promote wakefulness and alertness. Serotonin increases in late afternoon, supporting mood. Melatonin rises at night, inducing sleep. Disrupting these natural rhythms through irregular sleep, shift work, or excessive artificial light may desynchronize your entire system. Honoring natural rhythms, waking with light, dimming evening exposure, eating at consistent times, might support many biological processes. your body evolved to dance with the sun and moon. When you work against these ancient patterns, systems may struggle. When you honor them, healing might flow more easily. Proprioception, your sense of where your body is in space, relies on constant feedback from muscles, egoics, and tendons. Practices like yoga, tai chi, and dance may strengthen proprioceptive awareness, which often correlates with better balance, injury prevention, and even emotional regulation. There's emerging evidence that body awareness practices might help integrate difficult memories by reconnecting people with their physical selves. Trauma often creates disconnection from the body. Rebuilding embodied awareness could help you return to your physical self, making it safer to inhabit your body again. Healing might happen when mind and body reconnect through gentle, patient attention. Autophagy, cellular self-cleaning, is how your cells break down damaged components and recycle them. This process is essential for removing dysfunctional proteins and organelles that could contribute to disease. Fasting, exercise, and sleep all appear to activate autophagy. This is one reason intermittent fasting shows some health benefits. It may give your cells time to perform maintenance and repair. Your cells are constantly evaluating what to keep and what to discard, maintaining quality control at the molecular level. Supporting this process through lifestyle choices might give your body resources to maintain itself, potentially preventing accumulation of cellular damage. Curiosity activates reward pathways in the brain, releasing dopamine that improves memory and learning. When you're curious about something, your brain enters a state that may enhance retention of information. This applies to healing. Curiosity about your symptoms, your body's signals, and your recovery process could shift you from passive suffering to active participation. Being curious about pain rather than just enduring it might change your relationship to it. Curiosity could create space between you and your experience, allowing exploration rather than drowning. Wonder, even about difficulty, might be a healing stance. The concept of neurological diversity recognizes that brains are naturally varied. Some people's nervous systems are wired for greater sensitivity, others for risk-taking, others for analytical focus. There's no single healthy brain. What matters is understanding your particular nervous system and working with its tendencies rather than against them. If you're highly sensitive, pushing yourself to be less so might create suffering. Learning to regulate and honor your sensitivity could create flourishing. Healing might mean accepting your neurological reality and building a life that works with, not against, your brain's natural patterns. You're not broken. You're different. Mitochondria, the energy-producing organelles in your cells, have their own DNA. They generate the ATP that powers everything you do. Mitochondrial health may determine your energy levels, cognitive function, and how you age. Exercise, sleep, stress management, and nutrient intake all appear to affect mitochondrial function. When mitochondria work well, you might have energy for healing. When they're impaired by oxidative stress and poor lifestyle, fatigue and various concerns may follow. Your energy level isn't just willpower. It's cellular machinery working efficiently or struggling. Supporting mitochondrial health might support every aspect of healing. When chronic stress accumulates over time, It creates what scientists call allostatic load, the cumulative toll on your body. High allostatic load may predict various health challenges, but the load can potentially be reduced through stress management, social support, and healthy behaviors. Your body keeps score of stress endured, but it also responds to care received. Reducing load means not just removing stressors, but adding buffers. Rest, connection, joy, meaning. Both subtraction and addition matter in the equation of healing. Flow states: complete absorption in challenging but manageable tasks. Produce unique brain states characterized by decreased prefrontal activity and increased dopamine and norepinephrine. Time seems to vanish. Self-consciousness disappears. Performance peaks. Regular flow experiences are associated with greater life satisfaction and resilience. Flow might be healing because it provides respite from rumination and anxiety while engaging you fully in the present. Finding activities that produce flow, whether art, sports, music, or work, could give you access to states where suffering temporarily dissolves. These moments of complete engagement might restore energy and perspective, creating islands of peace within difficulty. We're learning that healing isn't about forcing your body to conform to some external standard of health. It appears to be about listening to what your particular body needs and responding with care. Every person's path is different. Some heal through movement, others through stillness. Some through connection, others through solitude. The common thread is attention, noticing what helps and what harms, then gradually doing more of one and less of the other. Healing might be an individualized conversation between your conscious awareness and your body's wisdom. The answer isn't in any book or doctor's advice alone. It's also in you. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel the cycles. Your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. A small cycle within the vast universe. Your heart beating its steady rhythm, never stopping. Faithful companion through every moment. Cells dying and being born. Over and over. The cycle of renewal. You are also part of that eternal movement. You don't need to hold on to anything. Let everything unfold in its perfect order, like planets silently rotating in their orbits. Unhurried, unresisting, simply existing. We're almost there now. Pain is a messenger, not an enemy. It tells you something needs attention. Fighting pain often increases suffering because resistance creates tension. Learning to be with pain, to breathe into it, to notice its qualities without harsh judgment. This approach, central to mindfulness-based pain management, sometimes reduces pain's intensity, not because the sensation disappears, but because you're no longer adding fear and resistance to discomfort. The pain may remain, but the suffering might lessen. Sometimes, acceptance is the doorway through which healing enters. Your body may remember trauma even when your conscious mind doesn't. Somatic therapies work with these body memories, helping release stored tension through movement, touch, and awareness. Shaking, crying, or spontaneous movements during therapy aren't regression. They might be nervous system discharge, completing defensive responses that were interrupted during trauma. The body may know how to heal itself when given the safety to do so. Sometimes healing requires less thinking and more feeling, less talking and more sensing. Hormesis is the principle that small stresses might strengthen your system. Exercise stresses muscles, which then grow stronger. Fasting stresses cells, potentially activating repair mechanisms. Cold exposure stresses your nervous system, possibly building resilience. The dose matters. Too little provides no benefit. Too much causes harm. Finding the right amount of challenge, tailored to your current capacity, might stimulate growth without overwhelming. Healing doesn't always mean avoiding discomfort. Sometimes it means choosing the right discomfort. Grief is love with nowhere to go. It's proof you cared deeply, that connection mattered. Rather than something to overcome quickly, grief is a process to be lived through, at its own pace. Rushing or suppressing grief sometimes leads to physical concerns, the body expressing what the mind won't allow. Allowing grief, creating space for its waves, honors what was lost while gradually integrating the loss into who you're becoming. Grief transforms, but it doesn't disappear. And that's okay. Your nervous system evolved in natural environments. Forests, grasslands, near water, modern life's concrete. Screens and artificial light may create subtle but constant stress. Biophilic design principles, incorporating nature into built environments, appear to measurably reduce stress and improve some health outcomes. Even images of nature might shift nervous system state. You can't always escape to wilderness, but bringing nature indoors, plants, natural light, nature sounds, could create small refuges where your nervous system remembers safety. Coherence is when your heart rhythm, breathing, and blood pressure synchronize into smooth, ordered patterns. This state may optimize your entire system, potentially improving immune function, hormonal balance, and mental clarity. You might achieve coherence through specific breathing patterns or by focusing on feelings of appreciation and care. When coherent, you're operating as an integrated whole rather than competing systems. This physiological harmony could be both cause and consequence of healing. Everything might work better when synchronized. Your cells communicate through tiny vesicles called exosomes, carrying proteins and genetic material between cells. This intercellular communication helps coordinate healing responses across tissues and organs. When one part of your body is injured, other parts receive messages and may send support. You're not a collection of separate parts, but a deeply interconnected system, where every cell participates in every other cell's well-being. Healing appears collaborative, cellular cooperation toward a shared goal. Laughter, yoga, deliberate laughter practice in groups may produce similar physiological benefits as genuine laughter. Reduced cortisol, increased endorphins, improved immune function. Your body doesn't always distinguish between genuine and intentional laughter. Both might create similar biochemistry. This reveals something profound. You may be able to activate healing states even when you don't feel like it. The feeling often follows the action. Sometimes you don't wait to feel better to laugh. You laugh to potentially feel better. Telomeres are protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes that shorten with each cell division. When they become too short, cells stop dividing, a major aging mechanism. Chronic stress appears to accelerate telomere shortening. Some preliminary research suggests that meditation, exercise, and social connection might slow this process, though the evidence is still emerging and results vary widely between studies. Your lifestyle choices may influence aging at fundamental genetic levels. Synesthesia, experiencing one sense through another, like seeing sounds as colors, shows how fluid perception really is. All perception is constructed by your brain from sensory input. This means pain, emotion, even identity are perceptions your brain creates. They feel fixed and real, but they're interpretations, potentially subject to change. Understanding this doesn't invalidate your experience. It reveals that experiences you thought were unchangeable might be more flexible than you believed. Perception is creation. The real change isn't always in your symptoms. It's sometimes in how you relate to them. You might still be living with chronic pain, but it no longer defines your entire existence. You still have limitations, but they no longer limit your sense of worth. The wound may remain, but you're no longer only wounded. Healing is often more about perspective than circumstance, about relationship rather than elimination. The symptoms exist, but they're not all you are. Your breath creates your reality in each moment. Rapid, shallow breathing may trigger stress responses. Slow, deep breathing might activate calm. Neither breathing pattern is more real. They create different realities, different chemical environments, different experiences. You are continuously breathing yourself into existence, creating the physiological context of your experience. In this sense, you're never trapped in a single reality. Each breath is an opportunity to shift which reality you inhabit. Breath is choice made flesh. Resilience isn't about avoiding being wounded. It's about healing from wounds more quickly, learning from hardship, finding meaning in suffering. Some people emerge from trauma shattered. Others emerge transformed. The difference isn't always the severity of trauma, but the resources available afterward. Support, safety, therapy, meaning-making opportunities. Resilience is built, not born. It's never too late to develop it. Every moment of choosing growth over bitterness might strengthen this capacity. You become resilient by practicing resilience. Mirror work, looking at yourself with kindness and speaking to yourself compassionately, might shift deep-seated negative self-beliefs. The practice feels awkward initially because you're seeing yourself as you rarely do, with unconditional positive regard. Over time, neural patterns may change. Self-criticism pathways weaken. Self-compassion pathways strengthen. You're potentially rewiring how you relate to yourself. The face in the mirror isn't your enemy. It's a person deserving of the same kindness you'd offer anyone struggling. So could healing begin in the mind it already has? Every moment you chose to believe recovery was possible. Every time you offered yourself compassion. Every breath you took consciously to calm your nervous system. Healing was happening. Not in the future, when symptoms resolve, but now, in the choosing. Healing is the process, not just the destination. You don't heal in order to live. You live, and healing happens in the living. Your worth isn't determined by your productivity, health status, or achievement. You're valuable simply because you exist, because consciousness flows through you, because you're part of the vast, interconnected web of life. Some belief systems teach that worth must be earned, but existence itself is worthy. When you're too ill to contribute, you're not less valuable. You're a human being having a difficult time. That's enough. The Japanese concept of wabi-sabi finds beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness applied to healing. This means your brokenness isn't something to hide, but something that adds depth and character to who you are. The cracks are where light enters. Your scars tell stories of battles survived. Healing doesn't require becoming perfect. It might require accepting your perfectly imperfect humanity with all its beautiful, broken wholeness. You are complete exactly as you are, flaws included. The universe is mostly space. Atoms are mostly empty. Yet that space isn't truly empty. It's full of potential, of quantum fluctuations, of possibility. Similarly, the space created by loss, by illness, by limitation isn't empty. It might be pregnant with possibility for new growth, new identity, new meaning. What you lost created space for what you might become. The emptiness could be an invitation, not a verdict. What will you create in that space? Healing is returning home to yourself, not to who you were before trauma or illness, but to who you've always been beneath the pain. The witnessing presence that existed before thoughts of sickness, that will exist after recovery. This essential self isn't damaged by what you've endured. It's been watching, patiently waiting for you to remember it exists. You can't heal your way back to it. You can only remember you never left. Every ending contains the seed of new beginning. Cells die so new ones can be born. Relationships end, creating space for new connections. Illness forces life, changes that open unexpected doors. The caterpillar must dissolve completely in the chrysalis before becoming a butterfly. Sometimes healing requires complete dissolution of old forms before new ones emerge. Trust the dissolving. Trust that something might be being born in the breaking down. Transformation is rarely gentle, but it's always purposeful. The most healing question isn't why me, but what now suffering demands meaning. But meaning isn't found in the cause. It's created in the response. You don't choose what happens to you, but you choose what you do with what happens. That choice, repeated daily, becomes your life. Your healing story isn't about why you suffered. It's about how you responded, who you became, what meaning you made. Science reveals mechanisms, but mystery remains. We know how neurons fire, how chemicals cross synapses, how genes express, but we don't know why there's consciousness experiencing it all. How subjective experience arises from objective matter remains unexplained. This means you're more than the sum of your parts, more than mechanisms and chemistry. There's something here that science can't fully capture. That mysterious something is where healing's deepest truth lives, beyond explanation, in existence itself. Your breath connects you to everyone who ever lived and everyone yet to be born. The oxygen you breathe was once breathed by ancestors thousands of years ago, recycled through plants and oceans. The carbon you exhale will someday be breathed by people not yet born. You're participating in an exchange that transcends individual existence. In your breathing, You're connected to the whole of life, across time. You've never been separate, never truly alone. The real change isn't necessarily in the healing of your body. It's in understanding that you were never broken to begin with. Damaged, yes. Injured, certainly. Struggling, absolutely. But not broken. Broken implies something that was once whole and now isn't, that needs fixing to be valuable again. You're not an object to be fixed. You're a process to be honored, a life to be lived, a consciousness to be respected regardless of your body's condition. So here is the ultimate truth. Healing doesn't begin in the mind and end in the body. Healing is the continuous conversation between mind and body, between consciousness and matter, between who you are and who you're becoming. It's not a destination you reach, but a direction you face, toward life, toward growth, toward whatever light you can see even in darkness. You are healing right now, in this moment, by listening to these words, by breathing, by existing. Welcome home to yourself. And so, our quiet journey through the healing mind comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the neuroscience of belief to the cellular wisdom of breath, discovering along the way that mind and body speak the same language. Chemistry, electricity, attention, from brain plasticity that rewires neural pathways, to immune systems that listen to thoughts. We've glimpsed how healing is both mechanical and miraculous. Healing reminds us that we're not machines to be fixed, but ecosystems to be tended. Much of the deepest repair happens in silence, beneath consciousness, in the space between thoughts. The mind reveals patience, resilience, and interconnection. Without belief, the body struggles. By pausing to notice, we glimpse the extraordinary within the ordinary. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about unity of every thought, every cell, every moment in healing. You are not separate. You are a link in the endless chain. Think about consciousness itself, yours, mine, everyone listening, all awareness everywhere, perhaps all connected in ways we don't yet understand. You are not alone in the universe of minds. Let your entire being dissolve into the ocean of consciousness, into dreamless rest, into the space before thought. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left, only peace. If this thoughtful exploration of healing helped you relax or understand your mind differently tonight, a gentle like and subscribe helps other searching souls discover this peaceful sanctuary too. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, farther than most journeys take you. You can allow these thoughts of healing to fade now, like morning mist dissolving in gentle sunlight, leaving only the warm, calm peace behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if the earth itself is gently holding you, supporting you completely. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a river flowing to the ocean, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where time and weight no longer matter. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, Your body will still be healing itself in 1,000 invisible ways. Your mind will still hold the capacity to shape your experience. But tonight belongs to stillness. Rest well, healing soul. And remember, you were never broken. You were always whole. Even in the wound, even in the pain, always complete exactly as you are. Dream deeper with bedtime science. Good night.